Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick. It is Friday, so it is Focus Friday. As we close out the year, I apologize for not being on deck every day. It's been a lot going on. We're closing out the year. There are a lot of plans, a lot of things that we are getting done as we move into 2024. And I am being stretched in a lot of different ways, but I did want to come today and share with you 5 keys to developing laser focus. If you're trying to take your game to the next level, whether it's in business, finance, uh, life in general, relationships, athletics, whatever it is that you want to be at the top of your game in, you definitely have to be able to develop uh, laser focus. You've got to be consistent in being focused. It is what you give your attention to and what you focus on that you will feel that you will have prevalent in your life. So if you don't focus on the things you want, if you don't focus on developing and becoming what you desire to be, then you are going to struggle in becoming. Remember what I've always said, that we don't get what we want in life, we get who we are. We can say I want something all day. It's not until I want it bad enough to become the person that is capable of creating it, the person capable of doing it, the person capable of sustaining it, that I actually obtain it. And so then if I must become something, then I must be consistently given to becoming, and there must be a level of focus given to becoming. Before I go over these 5 points real quick, I want to point you to the description box of wherever you are watching this video. In it is an offer that expires tonight at midnight, and it is an offer to our coveted uh, Path to Generational Wealth course from our Legacy Wealth Academy. It is an 18-month course, but inside of this course are courses that you complete as you go that give you the ability and capacity to start making some major changes and impacts in your life financially. This literally is a blueprint that anyone can use. It scales based on your capacity. But for the people who are saying, I can't afford it, you're the very ones who need to be doing it, because you have to start creating your own mechanisms and instruments of revenue generation and wealth. And we talk about all of this in these courses. It took me years to put this course together. It was above my pay grade. So I went to the major hitters. I interviewed, I researched, and I put it together. This is literally, if you go talk to the people that everybody calls wealthy, this is what they're saying. This is what they're teaching. This is what they're sharing. And the crazy thing is, they're very open to sharing it. You've got to be willing to go get it. But it all starts with making a decision. Up until tonight midnight, this $2,695 course is $695. Until tonight only. This course is the most comprehensive course on wealth building online. I'm not just saying it. If you don't believe me, you can go to the platform, click the link, go to the platform, and check out the syllabus. It is comprehensive. I'm excited about it. You have to be willing and committed again to achieving that level of success. But the thing is, you have to start somewhere. There's no magic potion that takes you from negative net worth to $1 million net worth. It is a consistent, progressive move to getting there. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you can find ways to expedite the process. There's so many different instruments out there that very few people are actually tapping into. Now, let's move into this focus thing, because focus is so important. So I'm going to give you 5 key components that you need to practice and develop and use in maintaining, sustaining the type of focus that's going to get you to the next level. Because here's the thing, there's this beautiful thing, and people don't get it. People look up and they always see the end result of the life that somebody's leaving, and they become envious of that person, and they look at that person and they see that person as being someone that is uniquely special and has something that no one else has. And the truth of the matter is, I've studied top performers over the last 100 years. and looked at their stories, and there's a consistency there. There are no quick meteoric rises. What there are people who beat on their craft for roughly what you would say is roughly around 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of doing something consistently over and over again is the point at which you develop a level of expertise at it. Whatever your craft, whatever your skill, whatever your gift, whatever your talent, whatever your focus and your passion, you're going to have to put some time in. And if you, how fast you get to the 10,000 hours is up to you. How many hours a day are you committed to doing it so that you shorten the span? But when you develop the expertise, value comes with the expertise. And there are people who are going to need the value of your expertise in accomplishing and achieving or acquiring things that they want. And they will pay you handsomely based on your expertise. And so there's absolutely nothing that you can't resist. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, I literally pull up to bless people on the corner, at the light, in situations, at the shelter. These people got phones. They have cell phones. So if they got cell phones, I know darn well you got, if you're watching this, you got a cell phone, you got some kind of thing. So that means you have access to the things you need to be studying and reading and researching, even if you don't have money to buy a course from a Dr. Wallace, if you don't have money to sit down and work for a year with a Dr. Wallace, you've got an internet connection. And so you've got to be literally beating on your craft and learning. So what does that mean? If everybody's got phone, everybody has a chance to advance themselves to a level that is higher than the level they're currently on. Everybody. Nobody's at the top of where they can be, and nobody's locked into the place they're at. It's all about sitting up and saying, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to the next level, and I'm going to commit my energy, effort, and time to doing it. I'm going to remain focused. The first thing you're going to have to do is develop clarity of vision. You need a vision that's clear. You need to write it down. You need to be very specific about your vision, numbers, dates, times, what it's going to feel like when you achieve it, what it looks like in your mind. Make you a vision board, get you a journal, write it down, put it on a card, put it in your wallet, put it on your mirror in your restroom or your bedroom. But whatever you do, you need to have clarity of vision. You need to know exactly of what it. You got a lot of people who can't get there because they don't know where they're going. You got a lot of people that know they want something more, but when you ask them what it is they want, they can't with great specificity tell you what it is. See, I can tell you by the numbers, I can tell you by dates and times, I can tell you by the level of impact, I can tell you in so many different ways what my goals are for the next week, what my goals are for the next 90 days, 6 months, year, and 10 years. Why? Because I need the clarity in order to ensure that I'm headed in the right direction, in order to be ensured that I'm engaging in the right activity. I need to know if I'm doing something that is going to allow me to get X or allow me to get Y. It's immensely important that this is understood. So you need clarity of vision. The next thing is you need to get adequate sleep. Nobody ever talks about the importance of sleep when talking about success. As a matter of fact, you get most of these people that are talking, they're talking about the grind and how early they wake up and how late they stay up and all of that. And there are times where you're going to have to be on the grind, that you're going to have a grind mindset that but here's the problem. The body needs to have a certain amount of rest, because it's when you're asleep that your body regenerates, recuperates, restores itself. And your brain is like anything else. The more you use it, it becomes fatigue. There's a thing called decision fatigue. I make all of my important decisions early in the morning, right after prayer and meditation. I make the decisions and then I walk out the decisions. And there's a point in time in the day that literally will not make a very important decision. Why? Because there's this thing called decision fatigue. For every decision you have to make, it takes a toll on your ability to function and rationalize and reason and make choices. And so you've got to sit up there and get adequate sleep, because that regenerates and rejuvenates. And yes, you can do power naps. I definitely do them. That'll give you a boost for a while to get you through the day. And anytime that you're feeling fatigue, you need to find a place to rest. Your body's telling you it's not at its best and it needs to recover. And a lot of times in the day, a 30-minute nap will do that. And it'll get you through the day, but you'll end up crashing. You end up making poor choices. You end up making mistakes and you'll set yourself back. So actually, you can grind against yourself if you're not careful. You'll be out there, you'll be putting in the effort, but you won't be getting the results. Why? Because you'll be making more mistakes, you'll be making poor decisions, and you'll have to overcome all of that to get where you're going. You need the rest. I tell people all the time, statistically, scientifically, you need at a minimum 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep. No more than 8.5 hours of sleep at one time, but you definitely need to get through a certain amount of sleep cycles for your body, your brain, and your spirit to totally regenerate and be ready to take on the day at the highest possible level. Next, practice consistent prayer and meditation. No matter what your faith system is, I'm not here to tell you how you need to approach and deal with God, but you need to have a spiritual faith system. There's got to be something in this that's bigger than you. There's got to be something you can tap into. The meditation is a form of being able to breathe and relax yourself and put yourself in what you see, communicate with God. And here's something that I'm always teaching people when it comes to prayer and meditation. Get away from the ritualistic, traditional idea of prayer for one reason. If you and I develop a relationship and I'm the person in the relationship that has the answers, this is just hypothetical. I'm the person that has the answers in the relationship. But every time we talk, you do all the talking. How is this relationship beneficial to either person? If I have the answers, but you're always talking. Well, that's what 99% of people who pray to God do. They go to God and they talk for a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, however long their traditional prayer is. They are talking to God. They're telling God what's wrong. They're telling God what they need. They're asking God to do this, they're doing, and all these things. And the thing is, one of the things that I realize is in understanding God, there's nothing God doesn't know. I don't need to really waste all my time telling God what he knows. So I can literally shorten that. Hey, you know what's going on with me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, how much time do I spend in a quiet state listening? Now, you're not going to hear audibly. I'm not going to tell you it's impossible to hear audible from God, but I don't want to hear it. What I'm telling you is God speaks spirit to spirit. Spirit communicates energy to energy, exactly what you need to hear. And the better state you're in, this is why I talk about priming. You need to set your state. Gratitude. Gratitude lifts your frequency, lifts your vibration on a Hertz scale. See, most people wake up focused on all the problems they left behind when they went to sleep last night. They don't get good sleep. Why? Because they went to sleep thinking about all the stuff that's wrong that they've got to face tomorrow. You've got to learn how to unplug. You've got to learn how to set your state. You got to learn how to fix your mind and set yourself so that you get the right amount of sleep. And so many answers to dilemmas come in our dreams. It's the place where our conscious mind has no filter or control over what our subconscious mind can perceive, articulate, put together, and come up with. That's why dream states are so powerful. But if you're not careful, you'll take all that darkness into your subconscious and your dream darkness, and you'll have horrible sleep. Why? Because your energy levels are still at play, even when you're asleep. And so what you do, you have to set that up. But all that being said and done, with this prayer meditation thing, is I need to be able to hear from God. I can't hear from God if I'm worried, stressed, angry, bitter, anxious, fearful. All of those things put me at a frequency and vibration of 250 hertz or lower. And what that does, that vibrational frequency wreaks havoc on my body, wreaks havoc on my emotions, wreaks havoc in my spirit, and it puts me at the furthest distance from where I can literally sense God. I can sense God starting at about 500 hertz. I can start to really, really, truly connect with God at about 600 hertz. At 750 is when God is speaking. not audibly, but through spirit, and you can feel it. You get your answers, you get your reassurances, and you get something. You need to learn how to listen to God. But in order to listen to God, you got to learn how to quiet your spirit. You've got to learn how to quiet your soul. You got to learn how to trust the process. I tell all of my people of faith, it's amazing how we talk about how awesome God is. It's amazing how we talk about how powerful and all-knowing and God is. And we talk about how much God loves us. And then every time something happens, we fold over and crumble as if we don't have something, someone, somewhere powerful that we tap into. If God is really for me, if God is really omnipresent, omnipotent, then in omniscient, then I have no problems because I have the mind of God. I have access to the mind of God, which means I have access to the answers. And while it may be challenging to the carnal mind, it is simply a process to overcome for the spiritual mind. And that's the thing that you got to be able to do. And that's why practicing consistent prayer and meditation is so important. Because if you don't have something bigger than you, the moment you see something bigger than you will fold to it. Each and every time you'll quit, you'll give up, you'll turn back. You got to have something that's bigger than anything you're going to face. You also have to have a why that's bigger than anything you're going to face. You got to have the reason you're doing it. It's got to be bigger than anything you're going to face that's going to make you want to second guess yourself. You've got to have an understanding. That's why having clarity of vision is so important. Number 4, you got to prioritize your task and focus on the top 3. Here's the thing. In this fast-paced world, in this fast-paced society, there is so much to get done. You're not going to get everything done on that to-do list. If you're being honest with all the things that need to get done, you're not going to get them all done. And the normal thing that people do with their to-do list, their tasks, is they start doing the easy things first. And why? Because the more checks they got, the more they feel like they've accomplished something. I'm telling you, that is counterproductive. What I do is I prioritize all the things that have to be done. And I look at the harder things first. Why? The harder it is to do means 99% of the time, it's going to have a more prevalent impact on the things I'm trying to accomplish. It's going to take more time. It's going to take more energy. It's going to take more effort, but it's going to get done. And so I'm going to do it first. Why? Number 1, it's going to have a more prevalent impact. Number 2, because it's hard and because it takes a lot of energy, effort, and thought and all of that, the more the day goes on, the less equipped I'm going to be. Remember, I just told you about mental fatigue, emotional fatigue, decision fatigue, and all this other stuff. Well, I'm going to be less equipped to do it, and I'm going to be more likely to consistently put it off. I have literally met people who wanted to be clients, and they came into the fold. They had stuff on their calendar that was supposed to be done 4 years ago, and they just keep moving it. Why? Because they keep pushing it down, and by the time they get to the point in the day where when it should have been done at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and they pushed it to 11, or they pushed it to 1, they thought, well, when I get there, but they realize when they get there, they are less prepared to deal with it then. So what I do is I take the top 3 things, and those things are labeled must. Why? Because the things we want to do, the things we should do, may or may not get done. The things we say we have to do, that's a absolute must, get done. That's how we move life. The things that must get done, get done. The thing is, we tend to procrastinate and push things that must get done until they absolutely will destroy us if we don't do it. Don't pay the light bill until they tell you they're finna come turn it up tomorrow. Don't pay the car note until they start calling. They say they're gonna come pick it up. And on down the line, we've got this habit of procrastination. And so what you got to train yourself to do is understand that procrastination is both a thief of time and opportunity. And if I don't train myself on the simple things of life, the things that I do on a daily basis, if I don't train myself not to procrastinate, then I'm training myself to fail. I'm training myself to miss opportunities. I'm training myself to not be prepared to take advantage of things that are in front of me, because I tend to push things off until it's absolutely inevitably unavoidable. And that's not, you need to take it on head on. You need to take it head on. You need to go in and you need to pursue it. You need to get after it. You need to make it happen. And so that's so important. Prioritize, put the hardest 3 things that are going to produce the greatest results and the most progress at the top. Knock those three things out and then move to number 4, number 5, number 6. And what you're going to find out is when you start knocking out 1, 2, 3, and then you go to 4 and 5 and 6, those things at 9, 10, 15, 20 start to fall off automatically because they're automatically consumed and handled and managed within the confines of the things you should have taken care of in the first place. And finally, number 5, write down and constantly visit your goals. It goes back to number 1, clarity of vision. Write your goals down. Create a vision board. Why are vision boards so powerful? It's because they utilize this unbelievable thing God implanted in us, the subconscious mind, which controls 95 to 96% of your overall outcome behavior. Most of the things you do on autopilot. You don't even have to sit up and calculate and think it through. You're just doing it on autopilot because your subconscious has been programmed to it. The beautiful thing about your subconscious, when it does not have a filter, will digest, categorize, and prioritize the things it sees the most. Well, when you put a vision board up, you may glance at it, but your subconscious sees everything on it. The music in the background that's playing in the elevator or playing while you're talking and having a conversation, you can't hear it and know all the words that are being said on it, because you're focused on the conversation you're having, but your subconscious can hear it. Your subconscious can process 4 billion bits of information per second. Your conscious mind that you're using when you're in the beta state of consciousness is roughly able to process 2,000 bits of information. So you see the vast capacity of the subconscious. It doesn't miss anything. It hears everything in the background, processes it, it logs it down, and it doesn't forget it. You might not be able to recall it, but it's logged. It's literally inseared. And so every time you look at the vision board, every time your eyes glance past the vision board, it's a reminder of the things that you're focusing on. It's a constant visitation of the imagery. The imagery is so powerful. That's why visionetics is so successful in the concept that I created. But there's a reason the Bible talks about visions. It's powerful. And when you put that vision board up, you're creating the imagery of the things you want to get, and you're reminding your subconscious of what you're focused on. Your subconscious begins to go to work and produce. Your subconscious also recognizes opportunities when they pass. Things that at one point didn't seem prevalent to you, all of a sudden seems prevalent to you. The vision board also stimulates the reticular activating system, which is a bundle of nerves at the base of the brain that works as a filter to prioritize things. The reticular activating system can explain why you'll go to the car lot to buy a car and you'll see a new model or something and you'll say, man, I haven't seen this one yet. I'm gonna get it. And you get it, you drive it off the lot, and all of a sudden you start to see the car everywhere. You go like, man, everybody's buying this car all at the same. No, the car's always been there. But until you showed enough interest in it and your reticular activating system told the rest of your body, your brain, and everything about you that was important to you, because remember, you can only process 2,000 bits of information per second, right? So your reticular activating system is telling your subconscious mind what it can see and what it can focus on. Now, the subconscious is just taking everything in, but when you give it priority, all of a sudden now it starts to show up. That shirt that you never paid attention to, never noticed, you go buy the shirt, now everybody's got it. Same thing. It's that you're giving a message to your brain of what's important, and now your brain is focused on it. Now your subconscious is focused on it. Now you are literally locked in, but you have to be willing to engage this. There's literally scientific proof. This is not some woof magical potion. This is how the brain operates. God designed the subconscious to be the most powerful force. It literally can override anything your conscious mind is doing when you feed it. But that's also why you have to be careful to guard your gates. The Bible says it this way: guard your hearts and minds. We now say guard your gates. What does it mean? Guard your mind, your conscious mind, and your subconscious. What is that? Why? Because what goes in will have an impact. We need to be conscious of what we are feeding ourselves, our subconscious, our souls. We need to be very, very conscious of that. So those are the 5. Develop clarity of vision, Number one. Number two, get adequate sleep. Number three, practice consistent prayer and meditation. Number four, prioritize your task and focus on the top three. Number five, write down and constantly visit your goals. When you do that, I guarantee you, you will start to see a change. Remember, it's about consistency. It's about waking up every day and putting in the work and taking those progressive incremental steps to become and to gain ground. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you on that. And don't forget, until midnight tonight, the Legacy Wealth flagship course, which is the Path to Generational Wealth course, an 18-month course that is normally priced at $26.95, is only $6.95 to the remainder of the day. It's up to you if you're ready to take that step. But I'm telling you, there's no magic potion. There's no get rich quick scheme. There's nothing that you're just going to happily, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to become. It's that simple. There's no thing around it. That's something that I teach every person that I work with. You're going to have to become it. Now, where are you right now? Who are you right now? And what is it that you're trying to have? This is who you're going to have to be. Let's become it. And it's that simple. And nobody can stop you from becoming. Now, people can put roadblocks in your way. You're going to see things that appear as obstacles. Those obstacles are simply puzzles that you must solve. The answers are in the mind of God, which you have access to. You have to put in the work. You have to be consistently given to it. You can't quit. You can't turn around. You have to be willing to go the distance. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. On that note, have an unbelievable remainder